President Costa Bridge links Rio to the town of Niterói. It's one of the longest in the world, being over 11 miles in length. The bridge, which carries 6 lanes of traffic, was opened on March the 4th, 1974. It's a fabulous feat of bridge building, over a stretch of water deep enough to accommodate the world's largest ships, including the giant tankers. The central span had to be designed to permit the passage of this shipping, and yet be strong enough to support the huge volume of traffic using the bridge daily. The commercial area of Rio is a mixture of old squares and statues and breathtaking modern architecture. Buildings such as these ensure that Brazilian architects are never accused of being staid or without flair. Business in Rio is not conducted at the breakneck pace of Western cities. The attitude here is much more relaxed and casual. But if the proof of the pudding is in the eating, then downtown Rio confirms that the Brazilian methods certainly work. Visitors to Rio will quickly be aware that informality in dress is the rule rather than the exception, helped no doubt by the climate, which, to say the least, is always on the warm side. Rio is dominated by 2 world-famed sites, one being the Copacabana, more of which later, the other being the Ponte Sugar, or Sugarloaf Mountain. One of the Sugarloaf's great attractions is the cable car ride to the summit. If you're a keen photographer, then Sugarloaf is for you. There are more worthwhile shots to be had just about everywhere, from the car during the ascent, breathtaking views from the top, and of course, on the way down. The cable car ride is in 2 stages, but the middle station is worth a mention in its own right. Not only are the views magnificent, but weary tourists will be grateful for the refreshment available. Another highlight of a ride up the Sugarloaf is that it's always pleasantly cool at the top, with a gentle breeze much appreciated when the temperature at ground level is in the 90s. Save some film for when the ride is over, as some of the best shots of cable cars passing and unusual cloud effects can be taken from the base of the mountain. If and when you get to Rio, no matter how short your stay, a cable car ride to the Sugarloaf should not be missed. Having descended from the heights, how about a quick trip in a plane to get a bird's eye view of the Sugarloaf? Well, not in this plane, as it's now permanently grounded, and on weekends it's open for youngsters to play pilot. Beats the old-fashioned swing. If your tastes run to horticulture, a look in at Rio's botanical gardens is a must. Rio lies on the Tropic of Capricorn, and its climate means that plant life grows in profusion throughout the year. The gardens are a quiet oasis in the midst of a city known for its noise and bustle. The flora and fauna to be seen here has been collected from the world's 4 corners and ranges from the tropical to the shrubs and flowers that can be grown in England. The beautiful jasmine bush scents the air much more efficiently than anything that comes out of a bottle. Playing football, or futebol, as the Brazilians call it, on sand is far from easy. It's similar to playing on one of the English park grounds in the middle of February, when the mud is so deep it's like running with a sink plunger tied to the soles of your boots. Football is more than just a game to young Brazilians. It's a way of life. They play everywhere, morning, noon, and night, with a fervor that approaches an obsession. Games are held on street corners, waste ground, and beaches, and they're as fiercely fought as any international. These youngsters dream of the day they'll play for Brazil at the fabulous Maracanã Stadium, which can accommodate 200,000 fans. All is peace and quiet now, but in a few hours the scene will change considerably, as tonight Brazil play their old rivals, Paraguay. And as South American pride is involved, a fierce match can be expected, with a capacity crowd cheering on their heroes. The names Pelé, Garrincha and Jairzinho are known wherever football is played. The winning of the World Cup in 1958, 1962 and 1970 certainly put Brazil on the map as far as football is concerned. The Maracanã is the world's largest stadium and has many facilities which are years ahead of their time. An example of this are the indoor practice facilities available to the players. Coaches can recreate the temperature and humidity conditions existing out on the pitch. For the night matches, a miniature floodlighting system accustoms the player to the glare they'll experience during a game. For the spectator too, the Maracanã is unique. The luxury of the VIP suite would not disgrace a palace, which is important as the president himself often attends key matches. Not quite the result the fans wanted, but then, that's football. After all that excitement, let's get away from it all and take a ferry across the bay to the island of Paquetá, a 40-minute ride to a little spot of paradise, which is the time-honored meeting place of all Rio lovers. The great attraction of the island is that it's completely unspoilt, helped greatly by the fact that cars are not allowed. The only means of getting around are on foot, by tractor train, horse and carriage, or on a bicycle. You pays your money and you takes your choice. If you're a painter, sculptor, writer, or just one of those people who like to get away from it all, this is the place for you. The entire coastline of the island is one long natural beach. And what could be nicer than to spend one's days just basking in the sun with just the occasional dip to cool off, or perhaps a splash about in a pedalo. At midday, the town square is almost deserted, as the locals learned long ago that this is the time for a siesta. One of the best ways to see the island is to take the buggy ride. The drivers enjoy acting as guides and will point out places of interest as you pass by. The majestic figure which dominates the city was erected in 1931, and it's something every visitor to Rio should see. It's hard to say whether the best view in Rio is seen from the Sugarloaf or the Copacabana. Try both to be safe. The cloud, which often hovers around the statue, gives it an almost mystical appeal. The figure of Christ can be seen throughout the city. The statue is 30 meters high and weighs 1,145 tons. Every day, crowds of tourists come to view this marvel of sculpture and pay tribute to the work of Paul Landowski, the artist responsible for its construction. The Copacabana Beach is Rio's pride and joy. 9 miles of golden sands washed by the South Atlantic Ocean. Brazil has strong links with Portugal. The national language is Portuguese, and the use of black and white mosaic tiles is similar to those used in Lisbon's Rossi Square. Opposite the beach runs the Avenue Atlantica, on which the many hotels of international repute stand, while just a block away is the Avenue Copacabana, Rio's largest shopping street. On public holidays and weekends, the beach is the place to be. You'll have to get down early if you want to pick your spot. As many as 300,000 will pack onto the beach during peak periods. During the week, things are not quite so hectic, as people get down to the serious business of working on their suntan, looking at the attractions, or just playing around at the water's edge. There are 9 main beaches in Rio, of which the Copacabana is the most famous. You can watch the Copacabana 24 hours a day and never see it empty. People play football and volleyball and fly multicolored kites. They look for twin souls, strike up a conversation with anyone around, do business, argue politics, eat and drink, sleep and wake, walk and sit. In fact, they almost live on the beach. These men are a welcome sight on the beach. They're human tankers, dispensing drinks to those hot and thirsty people needing a constant flow of cool liquid. If anyone's looking for a new craze, this might be it. Skimming the shore on a board. It's rather like surfing on the sand. One thing the caricature, as the natives of Rio are known, are keen on, is keeping fit. Equipment such as this is freely available on the beach, and the enthusiasts keep it in almost constant use. This young chap is being taught the basics of another popular beach game, volleyball. No doubt he's looking forward to the day he can take his place in a proper game. Sunrise over the Copacabana Beach is a truly breathtaking sight. Even though it's Sunday, the Keep Fit Brigade is very much in evidence. Sunday in Rio is market day. And if you need to pick up a souvenir for the family back home, there are plenty of stalls catering for your needs. The market's the place to go if you fancy having yourself sketched. If you prefer ready-made art, that's also available. These toys and dolls sparkle in the sunshine. Their happy faces will bring joy to the children who will eventually treasure them. No visit to Rio would be complete without a look in at a tea dance, Brazilian style. This little soiree is taking place at a cafe at Ipanema Beach. And these are the girls from Ipanema. In the land of the samba, they really work at it, and no one suffers from being shy or self-conscious. In February, the famous Rio Carnival is staged, and the samba is an important part of the carnival. So much so that throughout the year there are special samba schools where intricate routines are rehearsed to be used in the carnival processions and on the floats. Brazilians have natural rhythm, and it shows. One thing worries me a little. No male partners. In the end, it's just being in Rio that counts. The Brazilians call it Cidade Maravilhosa, the marvelous city. After a few days there, you'll feel that this is an understatement.
E assim surgiu a lenda dos carajás.